True believers, it seems like just yesterday that we were treated to the highest grossing R-rated film of its time in 2016's Deadpool.
Captain Deadpool. No, just Deadpool.
And in the 8 years since, the franchise has still not lost its steam, with this year's Deadpool and Wolverine set to conclude the series as it stands in the Fox universe and plants our fourth wall breaking bad boy into the MCU, which I'm sure will go just fine.
I am Marvel Jesus.
And as exciting as it is to have such an important and iconic character joining such an important and iconic universe, I gotta admit, I'm really scared. It seems like Marvel is having kind of a time right now. But today, my friends, we take a nostalgic look back at the first installment of this soon-to-be trilogy and see if in a world of shared universes and studio crossovers, this movie still has the juice that made it one of the biggest hits in film history. Let's go.
Let's fucking go.
So, 2016's Deadpool is the film adaptation of the iconic Marvel anti-hero. After being played by Ryan Reynolds in that despicable 2000s Wolverine film, the character was all but butchered in that loose adaptation. Unfortunately, this was just one of many downfalls for this film, and it left fans upset, pissed off, insulted, and borderline offended by this awful attempt to do this character in live action.
You don't have to do this. Maybe you do.
Cut to 2012 or 2013, and there's a mysterious online leak of some test footage for a Deadpool solo movie, which included 3D renderings of the opening scene and Ryan Reynolds doing original voice material. This led to the fandom uniting in our outcry for a feature-length film, which of course led to studio pressure, which led to a green light. And sure enough, just a few years later, we got our movie.
I know, right? Whose balls did I have to fondle to get my very own movie?
Deadpool follows the story of Wade Wilson, an ex-military assassin now living on the low and working as a freelance enforcer. When Wade is diagnosed with terminal cancer in his liver, lungs, prostate, and brain, he seeks the help from a secret organization who claims to be able to heal him and even make him immortal. This, of course, backfires immediately and Wade is nearly killed, but given the immortality that he was promised. And just like that, Deadpool is born. From here, it's a simple revenge tale. Wade will track down those responsible for ruining his life and make them pay for what they did. Along the way, we're gonna get some help from the X-Men, some wisdom from Dopinder the cab driver, and even some encouragement from Stan the Man Lee himself. It's a classic superhero tale told through a very vulgar lens, and that formula seems to work wonders for this franchise. The movie's comedic performance from Reynolds may seem like his prototypical sarcastic potty mouth, but at this time, it was his first fully unleashed outing with Ryan Reynolds leaning all the way into this persona. And you know what? If it made me $1 billion, I would probably stick to doing that too, if I'm being honest. Most of the jokes land still, and the delivery makes the slightly too immature jokes work as good as they can. The scene where Wade and Weasel are talking about how ugly Wade's face is after the accident is still extremely fun and funny for me, and of course every one of Deadpool's little sarcastic retorts remain very funny and highly quotable.
Time to make the chimmy fucking chongas.
I also really love the scene of Wade and Vanessa meeting and falling in love, and it is one giant lesson in how not to be charming, yet the way it plays between these two actors is wonderful and, more importantly, hilarious.
I slept in a dishwasher box.
You had a dishwasher.
The action also holds up pretty well, although I have to say this movie's general look has always been a bit bland for my liking and has since improved with Deadpool 2, which has a more saturated looking palette. I still enjoy Wade's montage where he's looking for Ajax and working on his costume. It is a perfect blend of violence and humor, which I think complement each other nicely.
You're about to be killed by a Zamboni!
I gotta say, some of the CGI and digital effects are a bit rubbery as well, but when you take into account that this movie's budget was significantly smaller than the usual cape flick, I think it holds up just fine, and it's not distracting.
And please don't make the super suit green. Or animated.
That being said, I am not completely crazy about the movie's final battle sequence, which shows Wade finally tracking Ajax, aka Francis, after he kidnaps Wade's beloved girlfriend Vanessa. In my opinion, the final battle is just fine, but when you compare it to something as entertaining as like the movie's opening scene, it does kind of leave a little bit to be desired. And with that said, I'm also lukewarm on the movie's villain. He's just very uninteresting to me, and I think Ed Skrein would have been better as a more powerful and three-dimensional version of Ajax, but the story just didn't give him that much to work with.
You can't really step it up from there. Is that what you think?
This is yet another thing that would continue to improve over the subsequent film, and it looks to be absolutely incredible in Deadpool and Wolverine. The costume design of Deadpool is probably my favorite aspect of the overall visual adaptation. Everything from the big white eyes and the little ill-fitting mask with that bump on the top of his head to the Hello Kitty watch and even the Deadpool logo belt buckle. It's just perfect. It's honestly weird how it isn't standard practice for most adaptations for costumes of superheroes. Like, I think the way to go is to literally just translate the page to a person and then make little adjustments to make it more realistic from there. However, the MVP design of this series is the look of Colossus in these films. They made him look identical to his comic book counterpart, and they really took the time to show off this vintage looking design on screen and put plenty of shots of him.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
You will recover, Wade. You always do.
As a die-hard X-Men fan, I still get excited to see this character come to life in this way. The X-Men films of course did feature Colossus, but the designs started off as just okay in those movies and just got progressively worse as they went on. So look, this film is still fun and funny, but the question is it on the level that we thought it was? And the answer, to me, is yes. While I'm not exactly the world's biggest fan of Ryan Reynolds when it comes to his other films, I can confidently say that there is nobody I trust more with the character of Deadpool than him. From the fourth wall breaks, the clever quips, the attitude, for better or worse, it's all faithful to the character. Where most times I feel that the actors in these roles either don't read the comics at all or don't expand past the most popular stories, Reynolds at the very least seems to take the time to listen to what the fans want and prioritize our most important needs. Take notes, Sony Spider-Man universe, we know what we want to pay for.
Yep. That's a good one.
Look, I'm giving Deadpool a solid 7.5 out of 10 on the rewatch. This movie is still fun, and I very much enjoy it. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode of Marvel Revisited, but what I want to know is, are you excited for Deadpool to be crossing over and firmly entering the MCU? And what do you think that means for the character? I mean, are we talking more sequels or just peppered into other movies? I guess the possibilities are kind of endless. As well, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share this video with any of your friends or family who like this sort of content. We're an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support. Bye.
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.